back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast which we smash apart the films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1-minute chunks so we can analyze them in scrupulous detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Road to Infinity podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco. And Kyle, what is your favorite Alfred Hitchcock movie?
Oh, okay. I have a soft spot for Rope, just because I really like the idea, the concept of all in one, but I have to say The Birds.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big Birds fan. I like, even though it's hokey and silly when you watch it now, it's still like, it's not birdemic,
right?
But it has a nice element of like, yeah, that would be really scary if all the birds just decided to start pecking your eyes out and stuff. Hitchcock was good at finding that kind of stuff. That, I never thought to be afraid of that, but I am now.
He has got a great, if you go in to read anything about his life, very interesting.
Yeah.
He was a very spiritual man. A lot of this is all played out in his movies and everything. So when I think about this, and I'll admit, I wasn't a big, I kind of remember him from my early childhood because he got to the point in his career where he was the one who would show up in things sort of as a caricature of himself.
He became Alfred Hitchcock instead of like the great tour. Let me tell you my favorite Alfred Hitchcock story that has nothing to do with actual cinematic, but it's one of these weird pieces of trivia you find as you're collecting. When I started studying him in school during film class and stuff, there was a story that Dick Cavett told. So Dick Cavett was sort of the Jimmy Fallon of his time. He was everybody went on his show and everybody liked him, and he's still around today and he's still very well regarded. But he was the interviewer. So he became friends with Hitchcock. Everybody called him Hitch. And so one time, Alfred Hitchcock invited him out to dinner. So they went to his favorite restaurant. And so they went down and he sat down with him and they're having talk. And the restaurant, he said the meal was amazing. Like, it was a huge green salad, a thick porterhouse steak, and a parfait at the end, like an entire thing. And he's like, got to the end of the meal and was like, Hitch, oh my God, like, that was amazing, but I'm so full. Like, I can't even. And Hitch was like, yeah, one more time around. And they brought the same meal out again, and Hitch ate the entire meal again in front of him. The salad, the steak, the parfait, all the way through. And he's like, how? What? Is this little British guy, but like he knew how to pack out
a man after my own appetite.
Right.
Like, I understand.
He really enjoyed his food.
So my favorite movie, and I have to admit, I have to see this again, but his film Notorious.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
1946, Cary Grant, Ingrid Bergman, Claude Rains, monuments of that period of acting.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that's great about that movie is it's not a horror movie. It's not a scary movie.
Right.
It's a love story.
Yeah.
With a love triangle, and it's a meaty relationships and complications. And it's a really interesting take. I mean, again, because it's outside of his MO, right? Of what people expect from him.
Right.
Okay, now, what are we talking about Alfred Hitchcock for? Well, because here's the movie we didn't mention, Vertigo.
Right.
And Vertigo brought on something that happens very early in minute 53.
That's right. So we're going to get to it very quickly here in minute 53 of 2008's Incredible Hulk, directed by Louis Leterrier. We pick up where we left off, which is the Hulk in all of his sinewy glory. We finally get, he was hunched over at the end of the last minute, and in minute 53 he stands up, and we can see him in all of his hulky glory.
And what we mentioned in the last minute, when he stands up, you've never seen, you see the not just the ripples, but you see the strands in the musculature, like you've never seen before.
Right.
This is a Hulk that has 0.00001% body fat.
Yeah, he's cut. Yeah, he's got like a 12-pack? I mean, what is that?
He's like Cena. John Cena.
But we can see him. Right?
No.
So the design of this Hulk was actually based on the work of Mike Deodato. He was a longtime Hulk artist, and so that, like, if you go and Google him and look at some of his images, you can kind of see the same thing. So I think the sort of the longer strider, as opposed to like the Dale Keown sort of like massive round thing, like he had a very much more of a I guess wrestler's build, I guess, would be a way to.
Sure.
I mean,
absolutely.
He's much more like these. This is the Fight Club version of Hulk.
Right.
So we go immediately from that shot, cut to Emil Blonsky, who was like oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's the guy I've been waiting for. And this is where we get into what we talk about Alfred Hitchcock, because Louis Leterrier uses something here that's called the dolly zoom. Now, the dolly zoom is also known in movie circles as the vertigo effect. So the vertigo effect is a way of like zooming in on a character, like and having the background sort of fall away. So yeah, I see you have the note on it too. So they sort of like either bring the camera in on the actor or move the camera away, but they zoom in at the same time. Right. So it has a way of like the background sort of like falls away, but the person never moves, but it looks like the world around them is sort of changing. And so it was first used in the movie Vertigo. It was done by his cameraman, Irmin Roberts. So he's the one who sort of came up with that. And if you watch Vertigo, it's all over the place. Like whenever the character looks down to get vertigo, you can see like the ground sort of falls away as he's looking down. And so they use it a lot of times now to show a character has just thought of something or came to realization or like had something major happen to them. It's like that. When you see it, you know, oh yeah, I've seen that in 100 other things, but it was Hitch who first came up with that.
Well, and we talk about Alfred Hitchcock, but Irmin Roberts gets
he was the guy.
He's the guy, right?
Yeah, because I mean, he wasn't even like the DP. He was just a second unit cameraman who was like, I have an idea.
Isn't that amazing? Like, way to go.
Right, exactly. And cinematic history was made. So we see they do it on Blonsky, they do it on Ross, and I think a little bit maybe on Betty, but Betty unfortunately is being restrained by soldiers.
She's being restrained on the ground, so it's not that. But the fact is that you get Blonsky and Ross's characters. I mean, it's so clear. And this is where the movie has its little horror thing. So I think this is an homage. Yeah. I mean, I think they intentionally did this. You've got the Hulk looking like a monster, a true classic monster. Yeah. You get these double vertigo effects on these two characters with Emil is kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna get some. Ross is jaw visibly drops like,
oh man, I did it again. I
triggered
the Hulk again.
And then you've got this horror of the damsel in distress, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So,
and even the score then starts doing this like organ, like this Phantom of the Opera kind of thing. And then the Hulk sees what's going on, and then walks up to camera, and then gives a huge roar. Apparently, in the first version of this that came from ILM, they covered the camera in spit. Like he went, and it went flying out, and Kevin Feige had to go, okay, guys. Take it down a couple of notches. Yeah.
But I do love this scene in that it's him walking up to the camera. Yeah. So, in a movie that's so much about these ridiculous camera movements and everything else. Yeah. And that image of him, like the only thing I've got close to that is Sully in Monsters, Inc., right? When he has the ugly horror angry face at the end. This is scary. This is meant to make you go, "Ooh, this is a monster."
Yeah, that's the change your pants moment.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah. So we cut to Betty sort of seeing this, and obviously not the first time she's seen the Hulk, but like, oh yeah, that guy. I forgot that guy's in the guy I really like.
Now, can I make a note about this?
Sure.
I think it's unfortunate, unless I'm wrong. We have talked in the past minute about all these soldiers that have no names.
Yeah.
They couldn't credit this guy as Bloody Nose guy.
Soldier. I know, like Bloody Nose Soldier. Like what? It's obvious credit, but no, they're all just soldiers. I could not find the guy.
Come on.
I know. It's like it's a big moment too, because you could see like he's the one that obviously got elbowed.
Betty gave him a real
minute 51. He caught the elbow. Now we see his face covered in blood from that. And then you see Blonsky like ready to be deployed, but once again, good soldier.
Yeah,
he's ready, but he's like sort of like standing at the ready to be send me in, coach. But no, it's not. So then Ross says, "Alpha team, let him have all of it." And so then we cut to the soldiers, which is like, "Hey, remember how in the first thing the bullets didn't work? Have we tried more bullets?"
Didn't you get okay? This is another moment again, like I've been saying for these last few minutes.
There's a couple things throughout this movie that are still like that annoy me.
Yes,
always Betty in white and
more bullets.
More bullets.
No.
What about more bullets? Have we tried more? Have we tried more and more bullets? But it's their soldiers. This is what they do. So let's see. Let's get for all their gun nerds out there. The soldiers are using a combination M16 A2s and A4s. Then we go down the line as they're pelting him with little pieces of metal that do nothing to him. We have the soldiers laying on the ground. He's using an M240B, basically just slightly larger bullets that have no effect on the Hulk anymore.
No.
So
Yeah.
what they're doing here is Operation Endanger anyone who happens to be in the park that day.
Where are all those bullets going,
No,
right?
it's just a university. Like, there's chances are there are students, and we're gonna find out in a minute or two. There are literally students right there.
Well, there's two, but
yeah, at least two, but they're there. So it's like, where are the rest of these bullets going?
class time. It's class time.
That's right.
That's all right.
Well, it's a Saturday morning, so I mean, like,
Oh,
there's probably
yeah, no,
limited
that too.
classes,
Right.
But yeah, so then they're and so yeah, it's a lot of this minute is just like shoot. Have we considered shooting? Hey. Are you shooting? Because I'm shooting. Are we shooting? Let's shoot him some more.
Does Steve have more bullets? Steve, are you shooting?
Yeah, can you pass down some
It
more
is a little
bullets?
ridiculous because all it is just cutting, various angles of the Hulk running,
And we just see all the shells just bouncing off
him.
Yeah.
And and the Hulk, and you can see, like, okay, I think we've established this with the Hulk. It's not that they don't annoy him.
Yeah.
They probably sting. Like,
Maybe.
if we got hit with a really solid Nerf ball,
Right.
or even a BB.
Yeah.
So yes, they're annoying.
Yeah.
But so he'll put his
Do you
hands
really
up.
want to annoy that guy?
But yeah, like, I mean, this is not going to do anything.
So they're taking cover underneath a structure, a arts installation made of metal
Pavilion, some kind
and
of
so
thing.
so I to his credit, Ross knows this, and so he thought, have we considered bigger bullets?
Oh, bigger. I mean, the biggest bullets.
Big. So he brings out the Humvee that has he says, where are the 50 cals? Move your... I don't know if this is a PG podcast. Can I say what he says? But
derriers.
yeah, move your derriere. Military term for derriere. And so then, but not only did they bring a Humvee with a 50 cal, but they brought their own ramps.
Did they?
They did. So as they, to make their big impression, they leap into the air, kind of like it's okay. Like it's as you stand there, one leaps in the air right next to him and crashes down and continues going. I'm like, okay, you probably just wrecked your suspension, but all right,
okay,
sure, fine.
So we make
Humvees
the
are
joke.
tough.
All
in
of the
South
great
Bend, Indiana.
TV shows, which more references to come later on in this minute, maybe the next minute. Okay, if you ever watch those shows like Dukes of Hazzard from the 70s, right, and 80s, you clearly would see these shots of these cars. Yeah. They leap. Okay, yeah, they ramp. Because that doesn't happen. Right. Even though it doesn't take a lot for a car to go airborne based on its speed. True. There are YouTube videos of people who, like, I've seen a video of a car in the middle of the night takes on the circular
a roundabout?
A roundabout.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And and it goes flying, right?
Oh yeah.
Now that happens, but here's what also happens.
Yeah.
When that car gets back to the ground,
right,
it's no longer a car.
Right. Yeah, they at the very least they lose their front bumper because the angle when they're coming down. But
and that's even you can see from
you
this,
can see like that one's not like they didn't use for the rest of the day.
Plus, the people who are driving may have seatbelts on.
Yeah.
The guy manning the gun?
Yeah.
Not a good day.
No. So he's using a Browning M2, which is on there. It was invented by Mr. John Browning in World War I. It was so these are much, much larger shells. They are designed for penetrating vehicles or structures. So, like, okay, good on Ross. Like, they're designed for much bigger as opposed to, the ones that are designed for penetrating meat. Like, these are designed for penetrating structures and things. Okay, so he brings out the big guns and starts fighting, and it doesn't work at all. Like, it's like, once again, Hulk is just annoyed by this. Like, so that we see him charging. The Hulk is charging the soldiers who are shooting at him, and then he sees this thing coming. Now, this is what's fun. This is actually a bit of a blooper. So the stunt driver who was driving this thing at high speed accidentally flipped this. He wasn't supposed to. Like, so he rolls the Humvee essentially. And so they had this, because it's a helicopter shot following this thing. He rolled it and they decided to incorporate it in there. So they came up with this thing of the Hulk body checking it and knocking it over.
What?
Yeah, in the commentary they talked about it. It was a mistake.
Wow, though, really good though that the guy who's seated at the gun is not seriously hurt.
I know.
I mean, that's scary.
Because if they had actually gone over like a full 180,
this movie has had a few instances that we have discussed.
Very close, like
of stunt mistakes. Like again,
right.
and I mean, and again, we all understand the stunt industry is dangerous.
Yes.
And we appreciate all the hard work that everyone does.
Yes, and they want to do the job that they did, but they want to do it safely because they want to be able to do another stunt.
And we understand that these things
because no one
right?
should die for a movie.
No, good Lord, no.
Yeah.
Now I do like, as this whole sequence is happening, one thing I really did love that I picked up is kudos to the CG artists. Mm-hmm. Once the 50 caliber bullets are implemented, you can see bigger dimples on the impact spots of the Hulk.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they thought that through, and that is clearly there in the element. So I like that.
And even in the shot where the Hulk actually runs into the Humvee too, you can see the spent shells on the hood of the car.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like they're rolling around as it's pouring down because if you think about it, the shells eject to the left. And so he would be turned to the side, and so they would be spitting onto, like, basically the driver would be seeing shells raining down in front of him.
Oh, that's
of course,
awesome.
When they cut to the wide shot and the thing flips, they're not there. But you can only do so much.
Exactly.
So then you think, oh well, the jumping is enough, but no, jumping phase 2 is in effect because here comes the next one. That's an even deeper cut.
That's a deeper cut. Now, I know you're like, what was that sound? Yeah. Well, here, let me make it easier for you. That was the turbo boost.
That's right.
Of our infamous Night Industries 2000. Again,
from
we grew up.
That's right.
If you're a child of the 70s and 80s,
that's right.
You grew up with cars doing crazy things.
That's right. Gen X, baby. That's what we got off on. So the next one comes leaping in off of the ramp. It comes down. And Betty is still being restrained by the soldiers. Bloody Nose Soldier and Terry Notary. And then we see them, the second Humvee coming around to get close. So the Hulk is very, very close now. Like, he's almost on those dudes, and those dudes are not going to make it. No. Like, if the Hulk gets there,
no.
It is the Endsville for them. So the second, the Knight Rider Humvee comes swooping around to try and get between the two of them. Still firing, he's saying. But I love is that it looks like the Hulk is going to take on these guys, and then instantly pivots like oh, you're coming at me, and then like he gets himself ready as the Humvee comes on there and basically smashes down as it gets that much closer.
Well, it's the Hulk stomping. This Hulk,
he really
he's not a punch.
No, he's not a punch
fist guy.
No,
he uses his feet, which we talked about very early on. The feet of the Hulk are enormous.
Yes.
And so would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. So he stomps down on the hood of this Humvee and stops it cold. And then he's about to do something else, and that's where it ends. So we don't actually see what it is he's going to do. But he's stopped that Humvee. It's pivoted almost vertically in the air as he stops the momentum just with the force of his foot.
And I really do love this shot. When you look at that sideways shot of the soldiers on the left, the Hulk coming into frame on the right. Again, wonderful composition.
Yeah.
Action. You see the muzzle flashes. You see this art installation that's in the background. The Hulk he's got a motion blur, but he's nicely rendered. It really looks cool.
Yeah. This the action scene. This is the best action scenes in the movie. Like everything is working at this point. It's looking good. So we'll find out what happens to that unfortunate Humvee, and will the Hulk reach those soldiers? And what the heck is Blonsky doing this whole time? We'll find that out in minute 54. So join us. Make sure you do not miss that. In the meantime, what do you think about Facebook? Well, we have a way of making Facebook just a slightly bit better because we have our own super secret exclusive Facebook group. That's right. Don't tell everyone. But if you want to join our group, it's the Marvel Movie Minute and Next Reel Film Podcast Executive Lounge. Everybody got that? Okay. Once again, it's the Marvel Movie Minute and Next Reel Film Podcast Executive Lounge.
I need to find an executive sound effect. I don't know what executive sound effect would be.
I don't know what the
briefcase?
Adding machines? I don't know.
Maybe some ice and a beverage
pouring down there, like with on the rocks, something jingling there. You can find that facebook.com/groups/thenextreel. Thank you all for joining us. Join us back here for minute 54. Hope you had a smashing good time. Until next time, true believers.
Bye.